some point we determine that we're just too far apart and not enough movement is happening, we may need to move on to other priorities because there's a lot of important things happening in the world. Lastly, ultimately, it's not up to us. It's up to Russia and it's up to Ukraine. They have to make the decision that they're willing to move closer to one another, and we need to see progress.
Let's bring in former GOP national spokeswoman Elizabeth Pipko and Republican New York Assemblyman Jake Blumenkrantz. The whole thing here is, Elizabeth, I wanted to get this on a political perspective for you by putting up this poll, and this is by party breakdown here. This is about support of Ukraine, partisan breakdown, and you look on the left-hand side, limited time frame, you have Democrats say 22%, Republicans at 68%. As long as it takes, Democrats way up 64, Republicans 19. Democrats want this thing, don't really care if it goes. Republicans want this thing over now. What do you make of that divide?
Well, I think it's interesting because if you ask anyone in America that wants to be morally honest with themselves, they would say they want the war to end as soon as possible. What's interesting is in that polling, they don't mention how they want the war to finish, right? Democrats say they want it to go on as long as it takes to win, but how do they define a win? No one has been able to define that victory except for Donald Trump, who says a victory is an end to bloodshed on both sides. No Democrats have been able to say the same thing. That's the answer we were looking for, obviously, for the last 4 years, and certainly the answer that we need right now, and only Donald Trump seems to want to deliver that answer.
It's the question I've asked 1,000 times. What is a win? Okay, you don't want to give up Crimea officially, but what do you diagnose as a win here? The Wall Street Journal op-ed by Michael Allen said this, Jake, quoting, Mr. Trump is also correct that in many ways the Russia-Ukraine conflict is Biden's war. But if he hastily cuts off assistance to Ukraine and Russia advances westward, Mr. Trump will go down in history for making the same reckless mistakes as his predecessor. But the question is, how long does it linger? How long do you arm Ukraine before there's some kind of settlement?
Absolutely. And I think the polling is interesting because if you looked at what happened in Afghanistan, it was hard to find an American who wanted to stay. But it's also hard to find an American who appreciated how we left. It was a disaster categorically. Now, when it comes to Ukraine, it's important to understand that Trump has many wars he's waging when it comes to the tariff war and the rare earth minerals that we see in the Ukraine. That'll be vital to an American future that's sustainable, and it'll be a part of how we negotiate with NATO. So this comes down to how will Vice President Vance negotiate on behalf of the American people, and that'll speak to his doctrine as well.
Yeah, I think the two big stories tonight really are the fact that you've got these negotiations going on over the Ukraine war,